Humans can survive for weeks without food, days without water, but only minutes without oxygen. In our elementary science classes, we learn all about the symbiotic relationship between humans and plants. We take in the critical oxygen produced by the plants, while the plants absorb our waste CO2 or carbon dioxide from our respiration. Typically, oxygen, or O2, is portrayed as uniquely beneficial, while carbon dioxide, or CO2, is labeled as a waste product in the respiratory cycle. What if I were to tell you that carbon dioxide is not just a waste product, but an equally vital part of the body? It might surprise you to learn that carbon dioxide actually calms the body down and aids in the transportation of oxygen to our cells. Ancient Vedic texts dating back to the 15th and 5th centuries BCE state that specific yogic breathing techniques involving breath retention are required for effective meditation practice. This might seem counterintuitive. How could holding your breath be necessary in the breathing process? Shouldn't we be breathing more in order to increase oxygen intake? Well, modern science now verifies what pranayama yogic practitioners have long intuited. Breathing less leads to better oxygenation. Essentially, enhancing our body's CO2 or carbon dioxide tolerance indirectly results in more oxygen reaching our cells, enabling our body to move, think, and rest more efficiently. The phenomenon boils down to a fundamental biochemical process known as the Bohr Effect, first described by Danish psychologist Christian Bohr in 1904. This explains why you might observe doctors providing a paper bag for panicked patients to breathe into. By slowing down or pausing the breath, carbon dioxide levels rise in the blood, causing sensations of oxygen deprivation. An increase in carbon dioxide leads to a drop in blood pH, creating a slightly more acidic environment, and consequently, oxygen molecules in the blood lose their association with hemoglobin, the protein component of red blood cells responsible for carrying 98% of the oxygen in the blood. Once unbound from hemoglobin, these oxygen molecules are taken up by other cells and tissues in the body, generating energy for our use. So what is this telling us? If you want more oxygen to reach your body's cells, it's more beneficial to breathe less and not more. This is because carbon dioxide promotes the release of oxygen from our blood cells, and this allows it to move into the rest of the body. When carbon dioxide tolerance is low, the body tends to compensate with rapid, shallow mouth breathing. This primarily involves the upper chest and can be a form of hyperventilation. It's crucial to note that hyperventilation refers to breathing more than the body's metabolic requirements. In other words, one can be over-breathing without engaging in dramatic panic breathing. Most people tend to breathe more than necessary, with an average of around 18 to 20 breaths a minute. Now keep in mind that the functional respiration rate actually ranges from 6 to 10 breaths a minute. As a result, the more breaths taken per minute, the more oxygen remains attached to hemoglobin. Oxygen stimulates the nervous system, while carbon dioxide has a calming effect. The more comfortable we become with higher carbon dioxide levels by slowing our respiration rate down and reducing our respiratory volume, the more benefits we will reap. These benefits include the dilation of our airways and blood vessels, as well as greater oxygen uptake throughout the body. This explains the age-old image of using a paper bag and rebreathing carbon dioxide to help induce a tranquilizing effect. Ultimately, a person's natural breathing pattern should be light, slow, and deep. This is the opposite of hyperventilation. When a person's breathing pattern is like this, they are likely to have higher tolerance to carbon dioxide. Beyond the benefits of increasing carbon dioxide for the nervous system and mental health, it's also an excellent way to improve overall fitness. For example, it would be much easier to go for a run if you felt less breathless. Additionally, a higher carbon dioxide tolerance facilitates quicker recovery due to the body's adaptations to higher acidity levels, thus reducing fatigue. One way to enhance your carbon dioxide tolerance is through the ancient practice of breath retention. By practicing breath retention, we can swiftly and significantly elevate carbon dioxide levels in the blood, releasing more oxygen to our tissues and training the body to be less responsive to physiological and psychological stress. There are 4 steps in the process of respiration. Inhale, pause. Exhale, pause. The 2 natural pauses, or retentions, provide opportunities for practicing controlled breath retention. The 2 types of breath retention refer to the 2 steps of the breath cycle. One after the inhalation, and the other hold is after exhalation. In order to bring balance to the nervous system and tap into the effects of carbon dioxide more rapidly, it's most beneficial to practice after exhalation. This makes sense as the lungs are more empty at this point and carbon dioxide levels will rise more rapidly in the blood. It's also crucial to consider the duration of the breath hold, as eliciting various levels of oxygen deprivation can have different effects on the body. Prolonged and intense breath holds can be overly stimulating if not performed carefully. This is why understanding your initial tolerance to carbon dioxide is vital before practicing breath retention. Do not, under any circumstances, practice this technique in water or any place that requires your attention, such as driving. Take a normal, focused, yet silent inhalation through the nose. Then take a normal, focused, yet silent exhalation through the nose. Use your fingers to hold your nose closed to prevent any air from entering your lungs. Next, use a timer to count the number of seconds before you feel the urge to inhale. Inability to hold your breath for more than 20 seconds suggests disturbance in the breathing pattern or dysfunctional breathing. But don't worry, enhancing your carbon dioxide tolerance through breath retention can yield results within a few weeks. It's important to remember that these practices are not about competing with yourself, but about fostering the body's adaptability and resilience. We don't practice breathing techniques just to excel at it. We improve our breathing to enhance our overall quality of life. When our bodies and minds can tolerate more stress, we can tolerate more significant challenges and experience more joy. This is why meditation is always referred to as a practice. You should practice these breath holds for 2 consecutive days, taking the 3rd day off, and then repeat the cycle.